This is Gurdwara President's office. She's the cultural coordinator and the brains behind the community.
This is my fan club. This is really very special.
I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to actually do the press conference outside, but what we wanted to do was to first come in here informally and just go over a couple of things. My colleagues and I have decided to, in the best interest of all the communities that we represent, to stand here with the Sikh community to make sure that you understand that you have support from every level of government and every community that is possible in New York. We have the comptroller who is going to speak outside right after the president of the Gurdwara. As you can see, you have everyone else. You have the council members who represent all of the districts in this area. You have Senator Huntley. You have the new assemblyman for this district, Mr. Recodring, here for you. We have imams, we have pandits, and we have pastors from the Christian faith to let you know that all faiths are represented here to support you. We're going to do the press conference as usual with members speaking in a certain order, and then what we're going to do is at the end, which makes this different from other press conferences, we have the chairman here who actually lost his uncle in the event in Wisconsin. Yes, sir. And what we have already done is ask for his permission to have the representatives of the other faiths. We have Bishop Williams and Pastor Singh, and we have the pandit over the United Federation of Mandaeans. We have some imams that are on their way, and we have already asked his permission, and we can all lay hands on him and pray in a unified moment to, number one, spread the comfort of God to the entire Sikh community through you, and to let the world know that not just your elected representatives, but the communities of faith, the leaders, stand with you also. You know, an event like this is inexcusable and is unacceptable no matter what was in that person's mind. And to dare go against the sanctity of a sacred day as our services makes it even more heinous, if it could be any more heinous. So that is why we have gathered all of us today to make sure that we do this. This is not something that elected officials are doing just to jump on something that is popular. This is unpopular in the eyes of many. We just wanted to make sure that you know that you have our full faith no matter what it is, our full support in this faith no matter what it is. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak, but we have labor leaders here. Gladys is here from ATU 1056. That is one of our strongest locals. Some of the other labor leaders have sent their support. TWU, DC 37, 32BJ, which I met with this morning, all support you 110%. So if there's anything that you need in this community, all you have to do is reach out for it, and it is there for you.
I'm Mark Wepper, the City Councilman here, and I want to thank Councilman Wills for putting this together. I know all the council members had reached out to each other and to the local community to see how we could help to work together to show how much we feel the pain of the Sikh community, because this is all of us that suffer here. So we wanted to join together. I know Ruben you want to go outside now, is it?
Yes. So now we'll go outside. Yes, sir. Yes, the President.
I'm Gurdwara Richmond, the President of the Sikh Culture Society. First of all, I welcome you all because you share our pains with our heart. We lost loved ones. And like yesterday, since the moment we heard about the incident, and I really appreciated all the agencies, all the media. They came right to our temple, and the councilman Will came last night, and then thank you because you were in the this meeting. And before, the New York City Mayor Bloomberg was here, and Mr. Kelly Commissioner was here, and our district attorney, the Brown, was here. Our contention is, like our community, this is the oldest temple in the United North America. Whatever our community, the Sikh community, we are very peaceful. I know all the religion is the same. We respect each other. And when we feel like we get attacked in our worship place, the people who coming to this place, let's see another place, they go for a God, praying for God. And when they get killed, their loved ones who are waiting for them home when they left. And we feel so much inside deeply, because reason is you are our political dignitaries, all the city councilmen. We want to please take into consideration the Sikh community, now the large number of Sikh community, and we want our representation in the New York City, because this way the people know who are the Sikhs. This is our major concern, and that's why we, like NYPD, our people work for NYPD, but NYPD has a policy, we cannot keep the beard, we cannot wear the turban, and we suggest you guys, please give us the help in the city hall. This way we can, our young man, new generation, when they have a demonstration, their own religion, this way we can protect ourselves. So thank you for coming over here. Now we can go to the...
Okay, so I would just ask for everybody's patience for an additional 40 seconds as we walk out. Senator Huntley has a foot injury and she left rehabilitation to make sure she was here. So we just wanted to walk her out so everybody doesn't walk out and trip her up again, all right? All right, great.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. We just wanted to come out and express our support 110% for the Sikh community. I have already spoken inside, so there's no need for me to speak again. What we're going to do is run the order of speakers now. The first person that's going to speak is Mr. Khan, who is the Sikh president for this Gurdwara. Oh, there he is, right there. Okay. So I'm gonna step aside. No, you don't have to move. No, don't move. I know you're quick.
Yesterday was a very sad day for the Sikh community because it happened to us in Wisconsin. The people was innocent inside the Gurdwara who get killed. We respect all the religion and we pray for the lost, our whose souls, who the loved one get lost their lives. And when at the moment we heard about that, I'm very respectful to the NYPD because since they're happening, the police, all the federal agencies, all the medias, New York City agencies, state agencies came right over here and they give us all the information update. And even all the local dignitaries like our councilmen and all the congressmen, they call us. They are very concerned about our community, and we are thankful for them because now we feel more protected. Since yesterday, when the New York City mayor came over here, Mr. John Liu came over here, all the councilmen came over here because we think now they're protecting us. We feel more safe since they heard our sound, and we respect. Again, I told all my community, the Sikh community, be peaceful because maybe the God wants this way, and we have to pray for their soul. They should be rest in peace. Thank you so much.
What happened? Wisconsin seems like a far away place, and yet what happened there is so deeply felt here in Queens and in New York City. This is home to one of the largest Sikh American communities in the country, and the community has continued to grow in size and presence and in impact and influence here in New York City. Make no mistake about it, the Sikh American community is among the most peaceful people you could ever meet. And yet, for this past decade, especially since after September 11th, they have been the target of insults, of hate crimes, of misunderstandings, of discrimination, even along official channels in government. We briefly spoke inside about continuing discrimination that makes life more difficult for them and fosters misunderstanding. Recently, the MTA finally got rid of its ridiculous policy requiring Sikh employees to wear the MTA logo on their headdress. There are still restrictions that force Sikh Americans to choose between serving in the NYPD and observing their faith. These are just a couple of examples of ongoing policies in government that make life difficult for our Sikh brothers and sisters. What happened in Wisconsin was a terrible reminder that there is still bigotry of the worst kind, and that oftentimes that bigotry is directed towards Sikhs, towards immigrants, towards racial minorities, and it has to be stopped. Here in New York City, we send a strong message of solidarity with those brothers and sisters in Wisconsin and across the country, that in this very vibrant community that has been made more vibrant with the presence of the Sikh American community, hatred will not be tolerated in any way. And I certainly want to share the commendation for Commissioner Kelly and Mayor Bloomberg when they extended additional protections to the Gurdwaras in this and other areas. This is a terrible, terrible moment, not only for the Sikh community, but for all New Yorkers and all Americans. And we have to get to the bottom of exactly what happened so that we can try to prevent something so horrific from happening again. Thank you.
Mr. Comptroller, I have a question for you.
We're going to take questions after the poll.
I'll be here. I'll be here for
You want to
this.
be here?
Yeah. Senator Shirley Huntley, State Senator Shirley Huntley.
Good afternoon. This is something that really touches the heart of many, many people. And when I heard it, and when Councilman Wills called me, I said to him, I must be there. As he told you, I was doing rehabilitation for my cracked ankle, and I said, I'm putting this boot on, and I am going there because this community has always been so good to me. I have been here, they have welcomed me, and I also thought about my good friend Harpreet, because I knew we had talked, and I knew that he was so very upset about it. So I am here to tell you, we should not and will not tolerate this. Anything that we can do, all my colleagues, we're here for you. Just let us know whatever you need us to do. And you know, people must remember This is America. We all have a right to be here. We all have a right to practice religion. We all have a right to wear headdress. We have a right to do whatever we want to do because that's the kind of country this should be. Thank you.
United Federation of Hindu Mandirs. So he's here to speak on behalf of the Hindu faith.
First, I will recite a very short prayer. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya. O Lord, remove untruth from our lives and establish truth. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, remove the darkness from our lives and expose us to light, which is goodness. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, take away all the poisonous qualities from us and give us ambrosia, so that together as we live, we will not have that opportunity to use violence against another human being or any living entity for that matter, so that instead of having a spiraling effect whereby you do not have that opportunity to embrace someone with love, if you avoid violence, you will get that opportunity to express love and get to know someone, and in this way in future we will not have this type of violence. So to the families afflicted, on behalf of the Hindu community, we express our sympathy to them, and we do hope in the future we do not have a reoccurrence. Thank you very much.
Next we'll have Harpreet Tour. And after him will be Pastor Matthew Singh.
Thanks, Ruben Wills, for putting the press conference together. Thanks to John Wool, Senator Huntley, and everybody else, elected officials. We have been asking, Mark Wepper really remembers that first time when we had discussion, that unless we have in the NYPD a Sikh employed with the beard and turban, we will not be really understood who we are. And he did promise, he delivered things, but not really what we're not there yet. So what we are requesting here today is, with all these happenings, it is a terrible thing to happen, but both ways there are elected officials which need to do a couple of things. Over here, we need to get the bill passed in City Council that the Sikhs can serve in NYPD with the beard and turban without any question. That itself will answer a lot of questions. And on the other hand, there is some elected US congressmen and women who are targeting the minorities, that they are in the high positions and they should not be there because they are compromising the security of the United States. So what I'm saying here is, nobody should be passing any judgment on us. Why we have to prove that we are not a lesser American than anybody else. That is something which we don't need, and it's a sad situation that things like these happen and then we come together. But I want everybody to please remember this thing, don't just forget it, and we need to work on that, and we need to continue working on it till we finish it. Thank you very much, and thanks, Ruben. Thank you.
Pastor Matthew Singh.
I'd just like to ask you to join us in prayer. I just want to say, as a pastor in the community, we're just a couple of blocks away from here. We join with this temple as we stand on these steps. It represents, our community is not divided. We are united. We stand in support. We feel their hurt. We come together for prayer. Tomorrow night we'll be gathering at our church. We've invited a couple other churches to stand in prayer with the families and for the families that have been hurting. Let this be a message that, for those that hate, we will stand together. And for those that are weeping and broken and hurting, when you hurt one, you hurt all. We're all weeping for these families. We stand with Reuben Wills and the rest of our community, and we support the Sikh community, and we pray for them. Thank you, and may God bless. May God bless you.
Councilmember Mark Wentworth.
Thank you, Reuben. Ladies and gentlemen, it was very important for all of my colleagues in government when we spoke about this to get together to show the Sikh community that we're with them not only in good times as we have been in the past for Vaisakhi celebrations and New Year celebration, as well as other parades, but also in a terrible time like this, because these Americans who died in Wisconsin, could be any one of us, and we understand that, and we wanted to come together, all of us in government and the community and the Sikh community, to say that we want to work together. We want to try to break the ignorance, and although we don't know all the facts of this case yet, it looks like it was based on someone's hatred, someone's ignorance, and we need to work together to try to educate people. And if there's one possible silver lining that these people might not have died in vain, it's the idea that maybe we can educate people about Sikhism and other religions so we get to know each other better, so maybe we hate a little less, and maybe in the future can prevent such a tragedy. Thank you very much.
Now it's turn. We wanted to have the other council members that are with the adjoining districts of mine speak, but we have a special guest, someone who came all the way from Brooklyn to make Brooklyn, come on out, to make sure, two from Brooklyn. Tish James is here also. Dominic Vecchia and Tip James have come out from the city council from the borough of Brooklyn, the second greatest borough in the city, to make sure, don't get taken, I ain't gonna put that to make sure that they stand in support for us also. So the Queens delegation wants you guys to speak first. So you want to speak.
Thank you, Reuben Wills. It's unfortunate we have to be here today for this horrible event that happened in Wisconsin. But a message must go out that this city's united as one. We will stand with the Sikh community to make sure that no one copies what happened in Wisconsin here. By standing here at the hearing, that there's no police officer from this community who can wear a turban and understand your religion. It really bothers me as a New Yorker. So I think that's one thing that we in the city council could work in together to work with you, with Police Officer Kelly, and to see why he will not cooperate and see what we could do to make this work. Everything is negotiable. And in order to understand the community, just can't come here when things happen or when good events. But you actually have to be involved from the day-to-day life to understand what is going on inside the community in order for us to unite together and really be one and welcome you to be part of the city. So I give you my pledge as the City Council, as the Finance Chairman of New York City Council, to work with you to make sure that this happens. And we should also work with the future mayor, the next mayor, to make sure if this mayor doesn't want to cooperate and make this happen, that the next mayor will. So you have my cooperation. And may all my heart and prayers go out to all those families in Wisconsin. And we should all remember them in our prayers in the next days and beyond that. Thank you very much. Colleague Tish James.
My thoughts and prayers are with the family today. And when hate happens to one part of our community, it happens to all of us. And as someone who has suffered and recognizes and understands the sting of racism and discrimination and hate, I've come here today to stand with the Sikh community to let them know that I'm with them, and to let them know that I stand up each and every day, particularly outside of this house of worship, where we celebrate the same God. And so today we all have all come together to stand up against hate, to stamp out hate, and to let everyone know that we are all part of one human family, and that we all want to stamp out hate and want to believe in tolerance and respect for everyone. And I thank Councilmember Wills and the Queens delegation for allowing me to speak at this point. Thank you.
Next up, we will have Karen Koslowitz, and then after Councilwoman Liz Crowley will speak.
Thank you. I am very proud to represent the Sikh community. You are so important to our city, and I want you to know I am here for you. In 1923, before my time, my grandfather was killed in Poland because he was Jewish. And I know what that does to a family. And it continues on through the generations because that fear and that hate continues. I want you to know that I feel your pain, and the person in Wisconsin that did this horrible, horrible thing should be taken down along with anyone else that feels that they want to hurt other people for what they believe in. So I am with you 100%. Whatever you need, I am here.
Councilwoman Liz Crowley and then Councilmember Eric Owens.
An act of hate against one religion or one community is an act of hate against all communities. We're here today as multi-religions, as many elected officials representing all levels of government, to let the Sikh community know that you have our support, and that the Sikh community in Wisconsin, that we feel your pain. I know that it's not only communities in Wisconsin, communities in New York, communities through all over the world are saddened by the acts of violence that occurred in Wisconsin. We must educate our children about what the Sikh religion is really about: love, peace, and working together. We must make sure that acts of violence like this do not happen again, not against the Sikh religion or any other religion. And like many of my colleagues, my thoughts and prayers are with the families that were directly affected by this act of hate, and we will work together to end violence on religion. Thank you.
Councilmember Eric Owens.
Thank you, Councilmember Wills. Like you and Councilwoman Kozowitz, I have the distinct honor and privilege of representing many people in the Sikh community. As a matter of fact, the Gurdwara on 101st Avenue is in my district, even though this one is technically in your district. But it is events like these that bring people together, where districts and boundaries and races and religions and ethnicities are put aside, and we come together as a people. There is no Indian race or Asian race or Hispanic race. There's only one race, the human race. And we are all part of the human family. And today we are sending a very strong message that senseless acts of violence that happen in Wisconsin can happen anywhere, but more importantly, that we will not tolerate any type of prejudice or discrimination, not only against the Sikh community, but against any community. More importantly, however, words are not enough. While it is important for us to pray for and remember the victims and their families, we must pursue and demand that justice is served, and that the people, the man and anyone who is associated with him who perpetrated these terrible atrocities is brought to justice. And that is as much of the American way as anything else, that justice will be served, and by God, we will see justice in our time. So thank you very much for having me. We stand with you today, but not only today, we stand with you every day. Thank you very much.
Assemblyman David Weprin, whose new Assembly District will now encompass this community.
Yes, thank you. I represent right now a large Sikh population in eastern Queens, and my new district will probably have the largest Sikh population of any assembly district in the state, including this area. My colleague, Assemblyman Mike Miller, asked me to express his condolences. He could not be with us today, but he certainly is in our thoughts and prayers, as well as the thoughts and prayers of everyone here. You know, it's almost, you know, inconceivable that an act of this kind could happen. You know, obviously, we just lost we lost, you know, lives senselessly in Aurora, Colorado, just a week or two ago. Obviously, something has to be done at the national level for gun control to prevent easy access to these type of weapons. But certainly, I have no doubt that this, although the facts are still coming out, was a hate crime. And as was said, a hate crime against one community is really a hate crime against all of us. We all have to really stand united together. We have to do more education, more understanding, in particular with the Sikh population. Even though we have such a large Sikh population right here in Queens, right here in this area, I have a bill in Albany that would address the issue of uniform agencies and allowing people to wear their religious attire, even though it conflicts with uniform agencies, because no one should have to choose between their personal religion and their job. And we all know the Prime Minister in India is a Sikh, wears a turban and a beard. We have police officers, firefighters, and all sorts of uniform agencies in India doing their jobs and not compromising their religion. So today, obviously, we're here. I want to thank Councilman Wills for bringing us all together. Today is a day for contemplation, for prayer, for the loved ones, for the family members, for the entire community. But we will be here each and every day, and we will go on to pass legislation to work with the community to see that something like this never happens again. Thank you.
As we said before, we have a cross-section of all leaders from different faiths here, and Imam Ahmed had just arrived. The Muslim brothers who have come with us to express support, it means something extra with them here, because as many of you know, this is the month of Ramadan, and they have been fasting and preparing all day to go into prayers. And Imam has made sure that he thought it not robbery to stand and support with us to speak on behalf of the Muslim faith.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is most unfortunate that we meet on such occasions to show how united we are. Indeed, our sympathies go out to the members of the Sikh community. On occasions like these, it's best to have something prepared to say, rather than you don't go on at what you want to talk. Terrorism in any form, domestic or international, must be condemned and swiftly dealt with in a decisive manner using appropriate measures. No excuse can ever be acceptable for the innocent killing of Sikh worshippers and in a temple. This is definitely a premeditated hate crime and mass murder by a person who feels others are inferior to him and others of his kind. It could have been worse had it not been for the heroic intervention of two police officers, for the killer had intended to reload his gun and to shoot until probably all his bullets were exhausted. On behalf of the Muslim community, I wish to offer deepest sympathies to the families and the entire Sikh community at the tragic loss of innocent lives at the Milwaukee Gurdwara. Someone said before me, we should not wait on occasions, tragic occasions, to take steps to deal with those who are involved in acts of this kind. It doesn't matter who they are. This is not the place for it. And this is the way we should deal with it, swiftly and decisively. Thank you very much.
So we have two last speakers before we do the prayer. Gladys from ATU 1056 was sent by the President, Danique Miller. We have condolences sent from other labor organizations, and she has been appointed to come out and speak on their behalf.
Good afternoon, everyone. We, the MTA Local 1056, would like to give our condolences to the Sikh community in Wisconsin. On behalf of the members of ATU Local 1056, bus operators and mechanics who work for the MTA New York City Transit Queens Bus Division and serve the riding public here in Queens, I join our elected officials to condemn the senseless acts of violence and express our deepest sympathy to our Sikh friends and families. We have members who are Sikhs, and significant parts of communities served by our lines include Sikh families, their institutions, and businesses that they own. We all know Queens enjoy a most diverse population and benefit from it. That's why we stand together today. We understand an attack on any of us threatens us all. Whenever and wherever such defiant violence against any group occurs, we must show our unity In our unity, we make clear nothing gets solved by such wanton violence. In our response, we show our resolve and strength. ATU Local 1056 wants our Singh families and friends to know we are there for them. Thank you, Council Member Willis and his colleagues for their commitment and support. I thank you.
I wanted to make mention of some of those who are here. I'm sorry, I was just notified that we have a representative from Grace Ming's office that is here. We have Susie Tatumbaum from Borough President Marshall's, Ellen Marshall's office. Where's she at? Susie, you want to come and read? Ellen Marshall.
Thank you, Councilman. On behalf of Borough President Marshall, I want to thank you, Councilman Wills, for organizing this press conference. I want to thank all of the elected officials who have come here and all of the community leaders for their presence. Borough President Marshall is heartbroken and outraged that another act of violence has taken the lives of 7 members of a Gurdwara in Wisconsin. It is appropriate that this horrific act is being called domestic terrorism. Our Sikh brothers and sisters have all too often been targets of senseless violence around the United States over the last 10 years. This particular incident is all the more tragic because it took place inside the temple, a place of peace and harmony. President Marshall always says that whenever tragedy occurs in the world, someone in Queens is grieving. She extends her condolences to all of the families of the victims and in particular to Mr. Kaleka's relatives who live here in Richmondville. President Marshall applauds the New York Police Department for increasing patrols outside our borough's Gurdwaras. She also pledges to our Sikh neighbors that here in Queens, which is the most multi-ethnic county in the United States, we stand together in solidarity against hatred and violence targeting anyone. May you, our Sikh neighbors, find comfort in the knowledge that you have the love and support of all of us through these trying times. If you need us, our doors are open to you. Thank you. And I also want to mention we have 2 Muslim sisters in this group. We have Ramfina Nias, who is Executive Director of Turning Point for Women and Families, and Maha Akhtar, who is the Youth Coordinator of Turning Point. And right before this press conference, Ramfina informed me that, I believe it was yesterday, a mosque was set on fire in Missouri. So all of this violence has to end.
Some of the others that we have on hand to show support is District Manager Jerry Ainisi. And I know that Senator Smith, Malcolm Smith, has sent Ty White on his behalf to show solidarity in this. So now we are going to ask that Mohan Singh, who is actually the chairman, lost his uncle in the senseless violence. So we would want you to speak. And then after he speaks, I ask now that the religious leaders, the imams, the pandits, the pastors, Bishop Williams, and whatever religious leaders we have here, prepare yourselves to lay hands on him so that we can pray for him, so that we ask that the comfort and the peace of God spreads not just on the Sikh community, but all communities, but to your family and all of the other families that are lost.
Thank you, Mr. Robert, to arrange this all press conference, and thank you, John, and all elected officials and political dignitaries who came to us here, sharing the painful what happened yesterday. I really appreciate the all media and all nation. We respect each another, all whatever we're from, somebody come. We respect God is one, and I especially thankful to that police officer who saved lot individual lives. And NYPD this afternoon, Mr. Mayor Bloomberg and Ray Kelly, Police Commissioner, and Mr. Richard Brown came, and we are really thankful to one or two precincts. They came yesterday afternoon, since yesterday, and now whatever they call Mr. President Kang and me, whatever need, we appeal to the all Sikh community, be peaceful, and everybody is safe. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
We want to make sure that we thank the Mayor, Police Commissioner Kelly, the inspector from the 102nd Precinct, De Leon, as well as all the others who made sure that they gave prompt attention to the Gurdwaras for their security. We just had an incident less than 2 weeks ago where we had to do the same thing for shootings in a movie theater. This is starting to get repetitious and not a good way. The violence is starting to get out of hand, and I think now is where we draw the line in the sand. You have representatives in front of you, not just from elected officials, but from every ethnicity and faith that we have in our community. We have pandits, imams, we have pastors, and we have Sikh priests. We have council members, we have regards from the congressional members, we have state senators and assembly members. We have a cross-section of people who have, a lot of times, as Councilmember Councillors said, have actually been a part of people or are a part of people that have been persecuted for a long time, whether they be African American or Jewish or any other ethnic group that has gone through racism. So we know exactly this means something to us. It touches us in a different way than it may touch others. So we stand here not just to speak before the press, but to let the entire world know that this will not be tolerated. We will bear down every force that we have, legislatively, community, grassroots, and in law enforcement, to make sure that these animals that perpetrate this types of crime are hunted down, because they are animals. And we have been dealt with, just as Councilman Eric already spoke of. But at the same time, when violence happens, we know that the best way from Gandhi to deal with violence is to express more peace, more God, more love, more compassion for those who have been hurt. So now, if we have already asked your permission, if you would not mind the leaders standing with you and praying with you. And we would ask that Bishop Williams, Pastor Matthew Singh, where did Imam go? Imam Ahmed, Pandit, all of the leaders of faith. We're just going to move this up. We're going to move this up so you can reach it. Everybody watch out. Mr. Senator, right? Yes, sir. We want you. Where is Imam Ahmed? No, you stand here. You're more. This is your. No, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is your part. Okay. And then we need to get. Where is Pandit? Where? Oh, okay, you're already here. Okay, great. So, no. So you lay your hands on the senator lay her hands on the imam, and the council members, and the comptroller, and the assemblyman, and all of everybody else, just lay your hands on each other's shoulders, and we will pray in the order of Pastor Singh, Imam Ahmed, Pandit, you're praying, and then Bishop Williams will round it out.
Father, we are gathered here to petition you, Lord, to bring healing to those that have been hurting. Father, you are the great counselor and the comforter. And so we stand with our brother whose relatives are now in pain in Wisconsin. We ask you now to shower him and all that are hurting with your peace and love and joy and restoration, oh God. In the name of Jesus, we pray this thing, Lord, and we ask all of us gathered together, united as one people, one voice, one God. Amen.
Amen.
God, you are most gracious, most merciful God. We ask at this troubled time that you give the families the patience to bear the loss and to heal their wounds, to set in our hearts only peace and love and affection for our fellow brothers. Lead us unto the straight path, the path of those whom you have blessed, not of those who have earned your anger, but of those who have gone astray.
Om Shanti.
अग्नि पश्चात शंपुरस्तात् उत्तरात्रात्मनमः एक श्रीदा विदो जात विदा समिगिनंगे ही सुखा sloke. Mighty God, most gracious and merciful Lord, we surrender ourselves this afternoon to Thee and pray Thee, may Thou bring peace to the departed souls, all who were dastardly murdered at this problem here in Wisconsin, and for the policeman who bravely gave his life in service. May peace come to these souls from the eastward directions. May peace come to them from the northward directions, southward, westward, from up and down and from all directions. Lord, if it's ordained they should be born again, may Thou bestow peace and happiness upon them, and they enjoy eternal peace and bliss at Thy feet. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I would like to say, on behalf of the Hindu community, we are against any kind of violence, because Hinduism teaches ahimsa, not to hurt anyone in thoughts and words and deeds. And we are here as a people to live. We live in harmony in this country. This is a great country we live in. We live in harmony with all. And these temples here are really working towards making humanity a better human being to live with God. And it's very sad to know these people have to suffer such consequences. May God bless those souls. And we want to thank also the mayor of this town and the police department for giving us protection in our temples, because since 9/11 all our temples and Gurdwaras were protected by police, and now I see that the police is also protecting these. So we thank you. We thank you, Councillor Wills, for all your thanks.
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सहमहम गुर प्रसाद ये अकाल पुरख वाहिगुरु आप ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਟ੍ਰੈਜਡੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾਨਾਂ ਗਵਾਈਆਂ ਹਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਵਾਸ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ ਆਵਾਗਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਮੁਕਤ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਆਤਮਿਕ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਭਾਣਾ ਮੰਨਣ ਦੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦਾ ਆਸਰਾ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰੋ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖੋ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
Lord God, you declared in your word in Jeremiah 29:11, call on me and I will answer thee and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. On this time, because of this atrocious act that has occurred in Wisconsin, there are many throughout this country and throughout the world that are in pain, oh God. So we need your mighty strength right now on behalf of all that are hurting. We need your mighty comfort right now on behalf of all that are hurting. And we want to demonstrate mighty support and mighty love and unitedness with the Sikhs right now, letting them know that we are concerned that any act, oh God, of violence against any religion is an act against all religions. And we stand in unity with them in this time of their need. In your matchless name, Jesus, we ask you to strengthen this brother as well as all that are hurting. We thank you for the same. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out, for spreading the word that we are unified here. We wanted to make sure we thank Howard Pollack from the Speaker's Office, as well as Vishnu Mahadeo from the Richmond Hill EDC. Thank you.
I will always see them.
Thank you for coming. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Are you kidding me? I wish it was better service.
No, I'm not. I'm
Of course. Whatever you need from me, you have.
You have to be